Mehdi Scally, I'm the General Manager here at Gowran Park Racecourse, and I'm delighted to be taking part in the takeover of the Thoroughbred Tails for this week, which is of course Red Mills Day. That's what we're building up to on Saturday the 19th of February. Gowran Park, as you can see, it's a very picturesque track. It's a place that we're very, very proud of ourselves. Anyone that works here, it's a place that you just love and you love to be here. And of course Conley's Red Mills Day on Saturday is one of our biggest days of the year, so it should be an exciting week to track my stuff, watch my blood pressure, see me lose the head, and maybe sometimes see me having a bit of fun as well. But I'm hoping to show you a lot of stuff from behind the scenes with my own track team here. The lads doing the hurdles and fences, putting the track back, getting the rails ready, picking the lines for the track, and even meeting the clerk of the course. So hopefully you'll all find it interesting, and I look forward to bringing that information to you all. You can see here, this is our hurdles there. We're just getting ready for Saturday's race meeting. So the hurdles here, Carl, if you come in a bit closer to me there, the birch we use, we grow this on site ourselves down in our own practice area, so we've got our own birch. So the lads literally build this from scratch. Top bar goes on in with the toe boards as well, and then the birch is fed through it, and it gives you this nice kind of finish on it. So the biggest thing that we're looking for is no daylight getting through them. So you can see here, like when we put them out, there was lots of leaves on it, so you'd end up getting light through it. So our assistant foreman here, Paul, came up with the concept of putting a small astroturf carpet on the back of our hurdles. So what that does is it prevents light getting through the hurdles. So this is what the horses are running and meeting, is this. They're hitting that, and it looks like a little wall for all intents and purposes. And on the back side of it, when you're looking at it on the TV, if you're looking at our head on, that's what you see on the back, which is really just a very light carpet fabric. Back of the hurdles painted white, and this here then, it just stops any daylight getting through, and it just makes it clearer for the horses that when they come to the hurdle, they'll respect and they'll look at it and they'll think, oh, this is like a little wall or whatnot, and they'll lift their legs. So it's worked very well for us. We've done it for the last 3 seasons, and it's something when you're looking at the races on Saturday to keep an eye out for. When you see the hurdle races and the Red Mills hurdle, you'll see the horses coming at that, and you'll notice the back of our hurdles. They do stand out a small bit, but that's the reason we done it, was basically to stop the daylight coming through, and it's worked brilliant so far. And good morning here from Gowran Park. It's Tuesday the 15th of February. We're just getting our early entries this morning now, so myself and the track foreman Raymond will go and walk the track now and just see what the condition is like at the moment as we speak. We'll look at the weather forecast then, and then we'll submit a going report for the IHRB to then send out to all the trainers and whatnot. So the biggest job for us here this morning is to just give a very clear indication of what way the ground is, so any trainers that are looking at running horses this week in Gowran have a fair idea of what the ground will be like come Saturday. This is the part of the job that, you know, when you apply for a job as a racecourse manager, you don't expect to be coming to work in the dark to give going reports. So it's the less glamorous side of the job, but it's probably the most important part of the job. So it's something I'm really looking forward to this year with the Curragh. My good friend Brian Kavanagh promises me that he'll be giving his going reports a lot earlier than I do, so that remains to be seen, but we'll see how it goes during the day. And the track foreman Raymond, and we've both agreed that the going at the moment is soft on both the hurdle course and the chase course. Since the weekend we've had 21 mil of rain. Most of that really happened on Friday and Saturday night, so it's had a bit of time to soak, and it has soaked really well, so the track is taking it quite well. So it's soft, but I would say just on the start is soft. It's not really heading towards the heavy side yet. The forecast for the week is quite, you know, rainy. There's a lot of rain tonight, the same tomorrow, so it's in and out, you know, looking at a good bit of rain, maybe up to 20-25 mil of rain between now and race time. So, you know, you really only want to be where we are at the moment. On the tracks, the hurdle course, we're given 5 to 7 yards of fresh ground as you go around. Up on the top end it'll be 5 yards, but in the straight there could be 6-7 yards of fresh ground, so they have a lovely new track really for that. And on the chase course, if Raymond pans around with the camera, you'll see the fences here in the straight, and if you look to the left hand side of the fence, you'll see where we've taken a section off the fence. So that was the inside section for Tayeste's Day. So what we've done there is we've taken off our inside sections because we protect the flat track, but at the same time then it gives us a fresh stretch of ground for the chasers. So when they're coming, if you're coming up the inside line, it should be predominantly fresh ground out around the track. So as I said, soft on the chase course, soft on the hurdle course, perfect national hunt ground. So we'll just hold off now and see what the entries are like later on, and we can get excited about Saturday. So we're just out here now at the second last hurdle. The lads are just putting up the hurdles as we speak. Yesterday when I was showing you on the video, you could see the back of the hurdles the way I was talking about not showing light coming through. So you can see yourself the way the hurdles look as they're being put up. We've six hurdles going into each of these hurdles today, you know, for Saturday's race meeting. The ground where you can see where I'm standing at the moment, this is all fresh ground. So the first 3 hurdles, as you look at it from this side here, the first 3 hurdles are all fresh ground. And as you move out onto the kind of last couple of hurdles, you can see that we're on the inside of what was the Red Mills ground the last day. If we just come around this side here, I'll just show you the takeoff side of the hurdle. you can see in here. So when we're standing, if you come in closer to me here, you can see what the horse is looking at when they're coming into the straight. So there's no light coming in through them hurdles at all. So when a horse comes to it, they'll give them the respect they want. Where we're standing now, if you look up, you can see straight up the straight. You can see the fresh ground, which is all to the right, kind of leaning onto the rail. So when you jump this hurdle, which is the second last hurdle, you're heading straight up, kind of catching that rail on your right hand side, and you'll push on up then to the last hurdle in front of you. The other big thing that Raymond has to decide kind of at this time is where we're going to bypass. So if we have an incident at a hurdle, we decide where we're bypassing. At this hurdle here, we're bypassing to the left hand side, and it'll be the same at the last hurdle. So the rail is still down where the last hurdle will go. We've left the rail down on the outside so that Raymond can determine has he enough space on the left hand side of the hurdle for a bypass. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Raymond, we're bypassing to the left at every hurdle for this meeting. So we're going to be bypassing to the left all the time. Sometimes you change it, it'll be inside in the weigh room, it might say bypassing at the first and second to the right and all the rest to the left. But for Red Mills Day, every one of the hurdles are being bypassed to the left hand side. Hopefully we won't have to bypass any of them. But as you can see with the lads, they're just driving home the end of the hurdle there now. It takes a couple of minutes. I can see by the way they're driving it, the ground is definitely it's only barely soft, you know what I mean? We'd have days here where you'd struggle, you'd be tapping the hurdle and they'd be flying into the ground. And worse again, I suppose, is when the ground is quick, it's just a nightmare to put them hurdles into the ground. But everything is looking really, really well, and the ground itself is a credit to the boys. It looks great. So we've one more hurdle to get up today, and then that's the hurdle course ready to rock and roll for Saturday. Good morning from a cold and windy Gowran Park. We had 5 millimetres of rain last night, overnight. I don't think that would make a huge impact on the ground, but the way my day starts today now, myself and the track foreman will go out and we'll take a walk at the track, have a look at the hurdle and chase course and just see if that 5 millimetres has changed. Our going at the moment is soft, and if it changes in any element, if it gets a little bit better and changes to yield into soft, or if it goes soft to heavy, we notify the IHRB so they can keep the trainers abreast of it. Today, Wednesday, it's Wednesday the 16th of February, and today the weather warnings that we're getting are all for storms later on. So we have a lot of temporary structures up around us here at the moment. We'll have to keep an eye on them during the day just to see what way the wind speeds go. Our hurdles are up from yesterday, our fences are up, the wings are there, so we'll be keeping an eye on them, and then the rail as well, because obviously with the wind it does affect it. So that's one of the things I have to monitor today. The clerk of the course will either call today or tomorrow, and we'll have a look at the track and he'll sign off, I'd say more likely tomorrow now with the weather forecast. And then for me, it's a strong office-based day today. You sign off on all your adverts for the race cards. We look at the corporate hospitality and make sure the menus are happy enough. I'm happy enough with them. And we look at the entertainment for Red Mills Day. There's a lot going on here on the day. You have a lot of music and whatnot. So I sit down with the caterers today for 15 minutes and we just go through what bands are playing where, what times they start, what times they don't. Some of that stuff might seem trivial, but for example, there's a marquee right to the left-hand side of where I'm standing here, just over there. There's one of the larger marquees, and you can see how close that is to the parade ring here beside us. So obviously that marquee can hold quite a few people. We have a big band playing in there, and the last thing I want is a big band kicking off in there and this parade ring full of horses. So we have to kind of coordinate that with the entertainment, with the caterers, and just make sure everything goes off as smoothly as possible. So it's a different type of day today, but unfortunately for us, we're now starting to weather watch because there's a storm forecast for today and a storm forecast for Friday, so should make for a bit of an interesting week. So we're just out here on the back straight in Gowran Park, and what you can see here in front of you, anyone that watches racing on TV and whatnot, these are what we call spurs. So the horses are coming off a bend here on the track, and as they're coming around, these spurs, the horses have to stay on this side of the spurs as they race along. And as you can see, if we look straight down along, it's keeping them on a straight line to the inside line of the chase course, and you can see the next spur up above. So the idea of them is that it keeps the racing line correct for the horses. In flat racing you'd have a continuous rail, but in national hunt racing it's a bit more kind of open, you know, the point-to-point idea that they're going from A to B, but the spurs keep them in line. But you might notice over the next couple of months at racetracks around Ireland is they've really reduced the size of the spurs they're using. So you can see this little spur here is what we're using now, where traditionally we would have used a full length of running rail. So you can see the difference in size. I'll just give you a bit of scope on this. So you can see the difference. Like if we were doing that today for Red Mills Day, the spur will be there, and that length of rail will be hanging off the back of it. The idea of that would be to protect the ground on the outside, number one, kind of from the track's perspective, because we do obviously have other race meets, and that's the flat track out there. But the section option on that one there is it kind of keeps the horses going on the racing line. But after consultation with the jockeys, what we looked at there was, we feel if you have a faller in a race, or if you have a loose horse, that we're hoping that the loose horse will probably stay on the outside, and the rail won't force him back in onto the running line, so it should keep it a lot safer. You know, it's what we've noticed ourselves from races. You get a horse on seating early in a race or falling early in a race, he'll keep jumping around and keep running anyway, because they seem to just love jumping the fences. But later on in the race, if you get a horse falling, at that stage he's probably saying, look, I've had enough, I'm tired, and they'll pull themselves up. But the idea of the spurs there, as you can see the way we have, we're talking to the jockeys, we've agreed, look, let's cut them right down in size. So they're way smaller now, and even next season in Gowran, we're actually going to replace them spurs with gates. So it'll look, aesthetically, we want everything to look as well as it can. But that's the idea of the spurs. So when you see them, and you're wondering, why has it gone from this big length to that big length? That's the reason. It's trying to encourage the loose horse in a race to head out onto the outside and stay away from the fences, to give the horses with jockeys on their backs the best chance to jump the fences safely. So it's just 2 o'clock now on Wednesday, and we have officially signed off on our menus for Saturday with the caterers up here in our rooftop lounge. The rooftop restaurant, it's completely sold out for Saturday, as is everything now at this stage, but this is a really, really nice place to come and enjoy the races. Everything is served to your table. So, for example, I don't know who'll be sitting here, but this is a lovely table for 2. You're looking straight out on the winning post. You're kind of shadowed over by some superstars like Gowran and Percent and Percy. There's lots of TVs, big screens there behind us, and screens all around. But this room, they'll have their own tipster, they'll have their own bookies, they'll have their own tote. Everything is there for them. It's a really key part of the race day experience, and something I'd really recommend for people doing. For us in Gowran Park, you know, we constantly be sold out. We're sold out, you know, for Thyestes Day. We're sold out for Red Mills now. Holden Plantrent's Day in a couple of weeks' time, that's sold out as well. So it's a really good start to the year. But I would encourage anyone that ever wants to go to a race meeting and try something a little bit different, taking the full corporate hospitality package. For us on Saturday, it's €55 per person. It's great value, 3-course meal with your tea and coffee, race car to the table. And as I said, if you look out the window there, like, I mean, you're looking straight out on the track. That's the winning post directly in front of us there. So it's, you know, it's an absolute dream location. Hopefully the weather won't be too bad, but on a day like Saturday, if the weather's a bit unpredictable and a bit of rain forecast, this is a lovely place to be. So for me now, the rest of today really is going to keep an eye on the rain gauge and see what way we're going. The wind is starting to pick up a good bit. You can see it. They're predicting a lot of storm damage might happen tonight, so we'll have a look at that. I see a couple of the wings have come down so far, so we'll review that later. So now it's get the race cards signed off and get that order in as well today, and just finalise the stewards list for Saturday. But everything so far is going to plan, and hopefully it'll keep going that way. After finishing walking the track with our clerk of the course, Paddy Graffin, and Paddy, you're happy enough with the ground at the moment?
Yeah, very happy with it, Eddie. I call it soft, probably yielding in places, soft yielding in places on the hurdle track. So slightly better on the hurdle track and soft on the chase track.
I'm blowing a storm now ahead of Red Mills. We've got first storm tonight, I can't remember what it's called, and then we stormed Dudley on Friday. Would that concern you massively at the moment, or do you think we're probably in a good position?
Well, I think the track, I'm here 22 years now and I've never seen it better for a Red Mills meeting. It was a very good Thyestes meeting, a very successful meeting for the Thyestes. And I'd say going into this meeting, the weather has been particularly kind. And I know we've all sorts of forecasts between now and the weekend, but we're in a very good place to take, hopefully, whatever's going to come. As much rain as there is coming, there's this blowing wind, so hopefully they'll whip it up and dry it up. But as we currently stand, you'd love to be racing this tomorrow night. It's in fantastic shape. And
we're lucky enough, Paddy, you know, myself and yourself are working together a long time, but you're living very local to us. It's not the norm for the clerk of the course to be living as close as you are. So I think lots of people that will be watching this won't have seen these type of videos before. But obviously in some cases the manager of the track is ringing the clerk of the course and saying, God, we had this happen or that happen. But in our case, you just open your curtains in the morning when you wake up and you're able to ring us and say, holy Christ, lads.
Indeed, that's about the height of it. So you can't bluff me, Eddie. I live over the far side of the hill there. And as much as we'd at times we get inclement weather, but no, it's a case of I'm fairly clued in before I leave home. I've a fair idea of what I'm walking into here.
And aside from the ground and the whole lot, like your role as the clerk of the course here, you would have come in today. Razzie and myself and the team here, well, mainly Razzie and the lads, they've laid out the track, they've the hurdles in place, the fences are all set up and ready. So you come and your job then basically is,
you come in here and you inspect everything and make sure it's all 100% safe and ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, indeed. The lads do a wonderful job here. They know how I think, they know what I like, and it's seldom I have to make many changes here. They do a wonderful job. They're very professional, and I couldn't be happier with everything. And the layout was I expected. There's always some little minor change. There could be a spur sitting this way or that way, but relatively small changes here. They do.
And good morning from Gowran Park. It's Thursday, February 17th. We get our declarations today. So the first job of the day has just been completed there, myself and our track foreman Raymond. We've just walked the track. We had 3 millimetres of rain overnight last night. So we're leaving the going at soft on both courses. The hurdle course yesterday was walking a little bit better than soft. We were nearly putting yielding into the going as well. We were kind of saying soft, yielding in places. But the little bit of rain last night has kind of took that out of it. So it's genuinely soft on both tracks. Nice ground, really lovely winter racing ground. We had a little bit of wind last night, nothing major, a couple of wings down, some spurs, things like that have been knocked over. So today we'll just assess that because it's still a little bit dark. So we'll go out around, have a look and see what else has been done. And maybe, obviously, when you have a race course in the middle of a forest, the next thing we have to go and have a look at is the enclosures and just make sure that there's no trees down. And then the golf club as well. Joe and his team will be looking outside there just to make sure we've had nothing fall on the course as well. But at the moment, the ground is where we want it to be. Everything is going quite well. The only concern that we would have now is there's another storm forecast to come in tonight. I think it's Storm Dudley tonight. It was either Dudley last night and Eunice tonight or the other way around. It's hard to keep track of it, but the storm tonight is meant to be a lot worse than the storm last night. So we're expecting accumulations of rain on that one, maybe up to 20 millimetres of rain. So we'll just have to see how the ground takes it should it come. There is some statements from weather forecasters saying that there could be blizzards, snow, whatnot. Look, we'll take what comes and see what happens on Friday morning. For me today, once we get finished on the track this morning, it's inside. The traffic management plan needs to be signed off with the local Gardaí to ensure that everybody's happy from our side on that one. Then we go through our stewards list for the car parking attendants and whatnot, and then it's the security firm just to make sure everybody is on point there for Saturday, that everything is managed as best as it can. So it's still all go here, and hopefully, as I said, we're still weather watching, so fingers crossed that the weather kind of does what it needs to do, and it's all gone by lunchtime tomorrow, and it gives us enough time to fix everything afterwards. But it'll be interesting watching over the next 24 hours. We've the declarations in now as well for Saturday's card, and it's looking really exciting. The Red Mills Trial Hurdle, 7 entries in it. We were looking at that earlier. There was 10 entered early in the week. Declaring there's 7. We've Calixios, Darasso, Tiupo, Salie, Felix Deji, Roy Mash, and the Tide Turns. Obviously, the 2 big in the market there are going to be Calixios and Tiupo, but it's going to be a brilliant race in itself. And the Red Mills Chase, it just never seems to fail to deliver. Like, it just always seems to have a class card. We've Chatham Street Lad, Daily Tiger, Hardline, Mellon, and Size and Potsy. On ratings, you'd expect Mellon, obviously, will take all the beating in this. His win ratio has not been wonderful over the last couple of years, but still a class horse in his own right. But Chatham Street Lad for Michael Winters, been unlucky in Haydock. I think he got a cut to his leg, but he's been off since. I'm sure Michael Winters is looking at this race as his comeback trial, and hopefully he can run really well for a very popular yard. But there's a really strong 7-race card. One of the jobs I would have had to do this morning was decide whether we take a divide on the day. Unfortunately, with the weather forecast the way it is, we couldn't take a divide. It's just, it'd be too risky on heavy ground running 8 races, so we've left it with just a 7-race card. As you can see behind me at the moment, it's absolutely beautiful outside. It really is the calm before the storm, but the weather is wonderful. Everything is all guns blazing. I've done the traffic management plan with the local Gardaí, so everything is in place for that. I'm meeting with the stewards after lunch as well, so it'll be brilliant. Declarations are signed off and the race card is signed off, so now we really are just on weather watch, but hopefully, fingers crossed, everything will go really well. Good morning from Gowran Park. It's Friday morning. The storm last night, it didn't hit as hard as they had suggested it might. Like, behind me out on the track as I look out, I can see some of the signs have come down and a few of the wings are down and whatnot. We left the rail down ourselves last night in the straight in the hurdle track. But so far so good with the storm. It hasn't been overly damaging for us. We had 8 mil of rain overnight, so I'm expecting the ground would have changed to at least soft to heavy, if not even heavy, but we'll walk the track in a little while. The weather advisories that we're talking to this morning are telling us that the worst of the storm hasn't come yet, and they're now kind of pushing it that it won't hit this area till 9 o'clock, half 9. Hopefully it won't be as severe as they're saying it is, but at the moment everything is fine. You can hear the wind starting to pick up a little bit behind us, but it's still very much early days, so we'll just have to wait and see. So this morning really it's going to be a bit of a waiting game with the winds and whatnot, so there's no point in us really going putting up rails and putting up signs and putting up wings and things like that, and then a storm blowing in and hitting again. So we're going to be really guarded. Keep an eye on what the weather forecasters are saying and just keep tipping away, do stuff inside this morning, get the bars and all that thing ready, give the caterers a hand, make sure all of that side of the business is ready to rock and roll. But unfortunately for us, we have to just wait with the weather forecasters to see what they're saying. But they're kind of telling us now that the worst of this storm is only going to hit the southwest coast of Ireland at 9 a.m. Generally when something like that hits down that area around 9 a.m, it gets to us around 10:30. So what's happening this morning apparently is the rain is coming in from the southeast, which is over on the far side of the mountain over there. That's the southeast side of us. The rain is coming in from that side, and you can see the clouds are coming in that way towards us. But the wind is coming from the southwest, so you've got rain coming this way and wind coming that way. And we're just in that bottom corner in Gowran, literally on the coast of Waterford and Westford. We're very close to both, and of course Waterford is in a red warning at the moment. So we'll just wait and see. We'll see what happens. All we can do is be positive, and hopefully it'll miss us, and we'll get stuck into it as soon as it's gone. Back in now, just after walking the track myself and Raymond. The going is now soft to heavy on both tracks. We got 8 mil of rain overnight last night, and the track itself took it quite well, so we've just changed it a degree to soft to heavy. As you can hear and you can see around me, the wind is really picking up now. I think we're probably just at the start of the storm now. They're telling us it's going to be for about an hour and a half, 2 hours in this area, so we'll hold off. Our big concern will be temporary structures and trees. So we'll just have to watch that over the next hour or so. But we'll go inside for now, and we'll come back out maybe at 11:30 and assess what damage is done. But hopefully there'll be limited amount of damage and we should be fine. But I'll talk to you after 11:30 and we'll see how we are. First tree fall today in this storm is this one here behind me, which is at our entrance. It's called Pans Around. So most people are coming in through the entrance there on the left hand side. So this tree is after falling on the practice green for the golf course. There'll be quite a bit of damage done to the practice green area itself, but we'll be able to repair that and work on it. Where the tree is fallen, the pedestrians are coming up through the lower cars, but again we'll be able to put in diversions and stuff and work with that. So as it stands at the moment, there's nothing really worrying me on the racecourse, but things like this, as I said to you, will be the biggest issue that we'll have over the next 24 hours. But they're telling us the heaviest of the winds are going to be gone by 12:30. Hopefully that's the case, and hopefully this is the worst we have to contend with. Welcome back to Gowran Park. The storm has really passed us now at this stage. Listening to Met Aaron and looking at the forecasts and whatnot for the rest of the evening, it looks like it's going to stay quite mild with some passing showers, maybe a risk of some sleet and snow overnight, but nothing major, nothing that would worry me. You can see we're out on the back straight here at the moment. Martin and the lads are just fixing a few of the last bits and pieces there. The wind you can hear, it sounds quite strong, but it's not. It's grand now. There's nothing, you'd race in this at the moment. All the wings have been put back up that fell down. All the rail that's down is asking to put back up. Raymond and the lads are asking a great job on that. But it's just all really just getting the last bits and pieces put up together inside the enclosures and that. So everything has gone really much to plan. I think the storm is as much as I can get. It seems to have passed us now, so I haven't got much concerns about tomorrow at all. Famous last words, but I think hopefully the weather will be okay overnight and we should be fine. But I'll give a quick walk first thing in the morning, and we'll give a report straight away as well and let everybody know. But at the moment, everything is fine. The ground, we're still leaving it at soft to heavy. I'd imagine that'll change to heavy in the morning with some rain. But other than that, everything is ready to rock and roll, so it's all system going. We remind everybody that tomorrow is an all-ticket event, so make sure if you're coming you have your tickets and just try and arrive early. We're expecting a bit of traffic on the roads in the morning, so our first race is at 1:45, so just make sure and give yourself a bit of time for heading there. You're very welcome to Gowran Park. It's Saturday the 19th of February, it's race day. So you've been with me all week, you've seen the type of work that goes into putting a race meeting together. Myself and the team here have had a challenging week to say the least, with storms and weather forecasts and everything else, but thankfully it looks like we're just about ready to rock and roll. We've had 6 mil of rain since I spoke to you yesterday morning, so we're changing the going now another degree. We're going to go heavy on both tracks, heavy on the hurdle and heavy on the chase course. Paddy Graffin, the clerk of the course, he'll arrive in around 11 a.m, 11:30. He'll walk the track himself, and at that point Paddy takes over that side of the business, so he'll call it what he thinks. But I'd imagine Paddy will go heavy on both tracks, so it'll be testing ground for the horses and jockeys today. With regards to myself, today now it's time to hand over the roles to everybody else. This is where the manager delegates, so obviously Ray Dreelan, my track foreman, will look after everything with regards to the track. He's been doing it for years, he knows what to do, so I trust him totally, and I trust all the staff. Paul Walsh down in the stable yard looks after all of that. Joe Scriven will manage our traffic management, and Pat Skeen and Catherine out at the front entrance, they look after all of that side of things. So everyone has their challenges today, and none more so I suppose than our caterers, good enough to eat banquet. And a lot of people will be here today looking for food and drink, and they're the guys charged doing that. It is hard as a racecourse manager that you put all the effort in all the week and then you hand over the responsibility to everybody else. But look, I really trust the team here, and I hope everyone that comes racing has a good day. You know, we would have loved to have a much nicer weather-wise day, a nice sunny day, but it's not too bad. It's winter national hunt racing at the end of the day. Forecast isn't too bad for during racing. So look, with a bit of luck, everything should go really well today, and I hope everyone that comes here has a really good day. I would remind everyone, this is a ticket-only event, so you need to make sure you have your ticket before you get here, and follow the directions of the marshals. There's a lot of traffic management to be done there, the Gardaí outside and the marshals on the day. So if you're being directed to a car park, just work away and go to where you're being directed to. There's no car park that far away from the enclosure area, so just work away and do what's asked. And the buses will be leaving from the castle gates at 12 noon. But I look forward to seeing you all a little bit later. Well, we're just about ready to go here at Gowran Park. It's just coming up on 20 past 12 here on Red Mills Day. The clerk of the course has finished his walk and his inspection of the track. He's gone the same as myself and Raymond called it this morning. He's leaving it at heavy. The weather is to stay dry for racing. A little bit windy, windier than you'd like, you know, but it's still fine. It's nothing to worry about. It's just a little bit breezy. But from my perspective now, the rest of the day is really just making sure everything goes as smoothly as it can. We're expecting a really big crowd. All the security and stewards and everybody are in place, and everything is ready to go. So look, there's going to be lots of horses running here today. There's going to be 7 really happy owners at the end of racing. We'll have a new Red Mills Chase champion and a new Red Mills Hurdle champion as well. So look, I'm really looking forward to the racing now. I will get to enjoy a couple of the races as well. But for now, I'm going to head out to the front entrance and just keep an eye on making sure everything is going right there. But everything has gone really well so far, so fingers crossed it'll keep going that way. And thanks very much for following Turbine Tales this week. It's been a really good week at Gowran Park. We were very lucky, I suppose, with the weather. We fell in between 2 storms. Unfortunately, I seen Navin as an inspection in the morning, so we've been very, very lucky. The rain just came when racing finished, which is our dream, and I suppose my caterer's dream. You can hear the noise in the background there. After dark, I've kicked off in the party marquee, and that's going to be rocking for a while. But we've had a really good day's racing. A couple of really nice winners. Blue Sari back in the winners' enclosure. Mellon, of course, winning. You know, not out of turn, a horse really loved in the area. It's just been a really, really good day, and of course the Yoko for Gordon Elliott as well. So from a racing perspective, really, really good. My own track team now, you can see at the top. I don't know if you'll be able to see it there. The boys are out in force already, putting the track back. We race again here in 2 weeks' time. So you know, it's for us, it's all about the next day, the next day, the next day. So the lads are getting straight into that. I have another 2 hours here just before everything finishes up and closes down, and then I'm definitely going to go and have a pint and celebrate, which has been a really good day. I just want to take a moment just to say thanks so much to Turbo Tales for giving me the opportunity to do this week, and of course to Jane Davis and her team, which were really helpful and really pushed everything for me, and John Cal. So just look, from me, I hope you enjoyed it and you found it interesting. Anyone that's interested in becoming a racecourse manager, just make sure you've got some really good doctors on standby to help you get your blood pressure down. And that's it from Eddie Scally. Thank you.